Hi. So at this point, it seems like we all have that experience of being excited for a game only for it to perform badly after you buy it. You may have spent thousands of dollars on your PC expecting to be able to play the newest titles with no issues, yet you barely hit the frame rates you were expecting. But why? Video games are now more accessible than ever before. You can play on pretty much anything. Even your printer can now run games. But you don't want to just be able to play mobile or indie games. You want to experience the cinematic, closer to reality games as well. You were fooled, just like me, by the RTX marketing. You bought a new graphics card, upgraded your PC just to experience the hype, picked up an expensive game, set every settings to the max, and started playing just for it to run like shit on your new hardware. With your bank account now empty, you lower the settings to get a playable frame rate. You remember a game you used to play. It ran just fine on your old PC and still looks good today. The hardware you own, even your phone, is much faster than pretty much anything we had back in the 90s or even early 2000s. As you might know already, your phone is thousands of times faster than the hardware available back then. Yet modern software across the board feels clunkier than ever. Nothing seems to be better, faster, or more reliable. Everything fails. Every other day you face a software failure, a blue screen, save failures, migration issues, corrupted data. To explain this, there are two sides, money and time. They're intertwined, not just for games, but for every piece of software you use. Creating a game nowadays often involves choosing a game engine, but what exactly is a game engine? Just like a car engine, a game engine powers everything. It does the rendering, game audio, manages assets, physics simulation, and everything in between to help designers and developers create a game. Most games back in the day were created from scratch every single time, optimizing for the game on the hardware it's running on. After Doom became a hit in the early 90s, developers at id Software thought since most games share the same underlying systems or rendering techniques, why not share the code between their games, popularizing the modern commercial game engine. Nowadays, many game studios have their own engine, and many more choose a commercial off-the-shelf engine. Choosing a commercial engine can really help a studio make the game at a much faster pace, reduce training costs since people familiar with the engine don't need to be trained on the engine to start working on the game. However, commercial engines are designed to support a wide range of game genres, often to the detriment of other genres. For example, an engine that is known to produce linear first-person games often struggles with open-world, non-linear third-person games. This is because many engines are built with specific games in mind at first, and then new functionality is added on top of the previous one, which often leads to a game engine being slow or buggy for one type of game and very good and optimized for another. To add to the problem, developers aren't just optimizing for one machine anymore. If you're building a game for the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, you're optimizing for a single fixed set of hardware. Everyone has the exact same GPU, CPU, and RAM, so you can test and optimize reliably. But when optimizing for PC, you're trying to make that code run smoothly on millions of different combinations of CPUs, GPUs, RAM speeds, and configurations. The PC environment itself can be a problem. A single background app or bad driver update can ruin the performance of your game. With all those variables, optimization gets pushed to the very bottom of the priority list. However, we can't talk about optimization without talking about legacy. And while both hardware and software deal with their own legacy and backward compatibility, software's legacy is much harder to deal with. Most modern game engines like Unreal or Unity have legacy code written in the early 2000s or even in the 90s. From basic functionality, system support libraries, or the architecture of the engine itself, with layers upon layers of legacy code, it becomes harder to reason about any piece of software, let alone complex games or game engines. You may say, why not create new code, rewrite everything and make everything better? The answer is money and time. The cost of rewriting everything is staggering, going from hundreds of millions to even billions of dollars for some critical systems. This doesn't even take backwards compatibility with older hardware, testing, and other aspects into account. Creating anything from scratch nowadays is almost always too expensive and time consuming. Today's AAA games could cost hundreds of millions of dollars, taking years and years of development time. This makes it hard for companies to justify the investment of developing a new IP, let alone focus on optimizations and fixes to their games, since their utmost priority is basically your wallet. Everyone is competing for a slice of the pie, trying to draw you in with their shiny graphics and vast open worlds. With a simple calculation, we can deduce that making a game that costs $100 million to make would require the game to sell at least 3 million copies to recoup the cost of development, after accounting for marketing and platform fees, of course. This massive financial pressure puts game developers in a tight spot. Publishers enforce strict deadlines, especially around holiday seasons. In the old days, a game had to be finished and optimized before it was stamped onto a disc. Today, every platform is connected to the internet, so publishers adopted the ship it now fix it later mindset and started relying on day one patches and post-launch updates to finish the game while they already have your money. All of this makes the game industry pivot towards live service games. They are statistically a better investment. They can ship an okay game or even a buggy, underperforming game and keep working on it for years. When they want your money, all they need to do is make a new expansion, new skin, new character, and make you play more with season passes. In the end, you'll definitely buy the skin. Everyone else has it. To make matters worse, this pressure by the publishers on the game developers makes them adopt dangerous shortcuts, implementing upscaling technologies like DLSS and FSR. Instead of taking the time to make sure the game runs well on native resolution, they build the game with the assumption that you run it with DLSS or FSR enabled. The shortcut first approach leads to other issues like stutters, crashes, network issues, visual bugs, and logic bugs. It doesn't matter if you have the latest CPU and GPU or a supercomputer. Rushed developers make worse code, and that beats raw hardware power every single time. Is there anything gamers can do about this? In all honesty, yes, since your wallet is their target. You can just not buy games, skins, or season passes. Buy games from smaller indie developers. They focus on total enjoyment instead of making a quick cash grab and live service slop. In the end, thank you for watching. This is my first video on YouTube and I'd like to thank you for reaching this part of the video. Give me your thoughts and ideas in the comments below and I'll see you in the next video.